Hey guys, it's Jessie here. Welcome back to my channel. Let me know what's going on with you guys, and I hope you guys stay tuned for what is coming next. Today I'm going to be talking about why I was sent to a group home and what it was like for me when I lived in a group home. So like I said, I was 22 years old. I was being discharged from Larned State Hospital in Kansas. And they needed a place for me to go because I didn't have a place to go when I was being discharged. And they needed somebody that could be held responsible for me if something happened. So when I was sent to a group home, I had no idea what a group home was like. I didn't know how many people were going to be living there. Nothing. I didn't ask because it just didn't. I was just thankful that they found a place for me, or I would have been stuck in Larned for longer. And at that time, I had been on Larned for over 2 months in a state hospital. So, and it was like going on 3 months, I think. So when I lived in this group home, there was, I think, between 10 and 15 residents that lived there at the same time that I did. There were about 3 people, maybe 4, that were about my age or around my age. There was another female and like 2 other males that were around my age. Most of them were between the ages of 40 and 70. Something that I do want to stress though in my video, or I'll just stress it right now. Not all group homes are the same. I think that's an important thing to remember if you are looking into a group home, is my experience is completely different from everybody else's experience. Say like if I need to go to another group home in like 10 years, I would be in a totally different one. The environment would be totally different, etc. So further ado, the group home that I lived in, it used to be an old hospital turned into a residential setting for people that needed to be in a group home. We had, for my personal room that I was renting out, because I still had to pay rent when I lived there, I had a hospital bed, which was actually really nice because it was easier to get out of, and especially since my back is kind of messed up. So I had that, and then they provided cable TV with my rent, and I had my own toilet and sink. I did not have my own shower, and I'll get to that in a little bit of why. Mainly it was safety issues. So we had a small cafeteria. The home provided the 3 meals a day, which we weren't allowed in the cafeteria until it was like breakfast, lunch, and dinner time. However, they did provide a small refrigerator and microwave for the, like, say if we had like Pop Pockets or that kind of snacky stuff that you can just throw in a microwave. We were allowed to have that kind of stuff as long as we didn't leave like trash and stuff behind and put like our drinks and stuff in the fridge. So we had like cooled water and stuff to drink during the day. They managed my medication for me, which was really good. I really appreciated that. Like, they were super good about making sure I took my medication, which is, I am not really that great about doing it by myself. There was only 3 staff members when I was there, and that was 2 people that were part of the ownership of the group home, and then they had a friend of the family or something that helped too. So one of the reasons why I left was because of the way the main owner, the male owner, it was the way he talked to me. He made me feel intimidated about bringing issues to him. I tried to talk to him about how we needed like salads and stuff in our diet because I have high blood pressure and I cannot eat processed foods all day long. That's just gonna just make me balloon up and swell really bad. And when I tried to address this issue to him, I tried to put it like on a piece of paper and left a note for him, and he got really upset about that. And he's like, I know who did this. And because he had never had anybody stand up and say, hey, we need like proper nutrition. So that was one of the reasons. The second reason is, like I stated earlier, the showers. There was one set of showers that were for everybody, and there were 4 of them. And it was a dorm style showers to where they were all lined up in one row. And they had just like that weird glass door on them, but the bathroom door didn't lock. So it made me feel really uncomfortable as a female taking a shower when I had really no idea who I was living with. I could have been living with a sex offender. I could have been living with anybody. And I'm not saying sex offenders are bad, but I was vulnerable. I was a vulnerable person living in a vulnerable environment. And that's the kind of thing that I want to stress, is that there should have been a separate showering area for the females, because I was young and I was taken advantage of while living in this group home. And I'm not going to get into what happened, but I was taken advantage of. So the final thing I have to say is, if I could give you any advice about going into a group home, or if your family is looking into a group home, is I would talk to former residents if you could. Talk to the management beforehand. Talk to the people that live there and see what they have to say. Also, like I said, my experience is not going to be like everybody else's experience. There could be a day in like the next 10 years or whatever that I could end up needing to be in a group home, and my experience could be totally different. So, needless to say, it could be, you could end up having a good experience, a bad experience, or a meh experience. And this is just my experience from being in one group home. I've only been in one in my entire life. If I had to pick between a group home, though, and a hospital, like when I lived in Kansas, Larned, I'd pick Larned because it was better. I had to do more. So I think it just kind of depends on where you're living too. And thank you for watching my video.